Hey folks, welcome back to another Massive video, and tonight we have the dual pokefair banner, Lance and Sygna Suit Cynthia coming back, right? So let's talk about these. And again, whether you want to summon on them or not, like even if you really want to do so, just wait a few more days. Because we're literally just days away from the from some potential anniversary info, right? I mean, I think they dropped the official info on the 23rd, right? So just wait a few more days, right? And yeah, I mean these are great. This is a fantastic banner, right? Especially if you don't have any great dragon type strikers. But again, great banner. Just give it a a few more days, right? Hold on to your gems just a bit longer. But we'll go over these as well, just in case if the anniversary is slightly disappointing for folks. And again, this is definitely a good option. So let's go over the units first. So Cynthia is I like Sygna Cynthia a lot, right? I'm not like the biggest fan of the outfit per se, but the unit is fantastic unit. And I really like it, even though like her damage isn't like anything crazy, right? But I really like her playstyle. It's really fun. It's an incredibly fun unit to play with, right? So her main thing is she has a 4-gauge AoE in Clanking Scale that lowers your defense every time you use it. But you really don't have to worry about that much, because if you have like 3 out of 5 Cynthia, you could pick up like High Five 1, and every 3 Clanking Scales you'll get 2 defense back, because High Five just gives one boost to every one of these stats, and then so it turns so that every sync move cycle you only get -1 defense, right, instead of -3, which would be devastating. But if it's -1 defense every 3 moves, honestly not that big of a deal at all, right? So as for some other stuff, I got Dragon Breath, which is Dragon Breath. X special attack, which is nice. Again, like for her, you could max out your own special attack even without NPRs, because you do get High Five buffs for your special attack anyways, right? And then you got your training move, Eyes on the Prize. Reduces your sync move countdown by up to 3 based on how low your HP is. Raises the user crit by up to 3 stat ranks based on how low the HP is. Not a huge fan of this trainer move, because usually if you want to buff your crit or whatever, you want to do it as soon as possible, and usually when you start the battle, your HP is full, unless you use it in master mode and start off with the only 50% HP thing. Then I think you get +2 crit if I remember correctly, right? At 50%, so that's nice, right? That's pretty cool tech that you could run with Cynthia over there. Take advantage of the master mode mechanics, all that stuff. Also have Head Start, which is whatever, honestly. Stamina Reserve 6, also not a huge deal. As for the stats, fantastic special attack over here. HP is not the best, unfortunately. Defenses are okay, and your speed is not good at all, unfortunately. But again, you do get speed buffs with your sync move, all that stuff. And you also do have 2 move gauge refresh 3s on Clanking Scales in terms of the grid. So as for other parts of the grid, you got some really great stuff here. Paralysis Synergy 2 and Static Shock 5. So if you run it with like a paralyzing unit, that's really nice, obviously. Especially if you are going to 6-star EX it, you run it with Valentine's Serena, which also gives your team speed as well, which solves that issue, and has an AoE Cotton Spore to paralyze the whole opponent's team. And then you have a 6-star EX, Striker Sync Nuke, which is AoE, and the whole opponent gets the Static Shock 5, right, with your AoE Sync move, and with the AoE Stun Spore, fantastic, right? A really great combo over there. As for some other stuff, you do have 2 NPRs on X special attack, but it's not a huge deal. You could just use regular the 2, and then whether it be picking up High Five or just waiting, although I'm not a huge fan of waiting 2 sync move cycles to get max special attack, but that's an option, right? Got unhindered, which is cool, I guess. Sometimes it's really extremely situational though. You have MP Refresh 4 for Eyes on the Prize. So it does cost like 12 energy though. Got Snow Shelter, Sand Shelter. Not that you could run it with like regular Cynthia anyways. Again, High Five, and then some Dragon Breath stuff, which I'm personally not really interested in. It's mostly need to go through these to pick up High Five 1. So Cynthia's again really nice. Again, her damage isn't the best. Although if you do want to calculate like her damage based on the AoE, like 50% against like 3 targets, that's actually really great. But if you don't, if you're just single target 100%, her damage is not the best. It's better than Eviltal's, right? Which is a low bar, but it's something, right? And she's a bit slow, so you definitely do have to build like a solid team comp around Cynthia, because she does have some issues that you have to solve. Again, you probably would have to bring up paralysis user here, right? If you don't have like Valerina, you like Meowstic's also a really fantastic option here as well, because Meowstic's very fast and has X speed and has Pep Rally on the X speed, right? So Meowstic could also help out this situation. Although with Meowstic, you do, it depends on how you want to build it, but you definitely would want even with Serena, you would want a crit buffer as well. But yeah, there definitely are options, but again, the team building is kind of limited. Again, it's not easy to max out her crit by herself, so it's usually generally better just to bring another crit buffer, just in case, right? You could just bring something like a Sygna Suit Blue, because Sygna Suit Blue without MP Refresh, right? You only get +2 crit. And since Cynthia already gives her +1 crit at max HP with her trainer move, run those two, you get max crit. And Sygna Suit Blue also gives you move gauge regen, speed, and also speed buffs off of Pep Rally. So that definitely helps as well. Also X defense haul to increase your defense if you're like further worried about the defense drops from clanging scales, right? So again, Cynthia, it's a really fun unit, especially when trying to like build a fun team around her, right? Again, you do need a bit of investment in terms of like her team comms, right? You can't just like throw her out there and like do stuff, right? So moving on to the actual throw them out there and do stuff, which is Dragonite. Dragonite is just he's good to go basically. Don't really need too much setup, right? Just need someone to buff the crit and special attack. Well, that is like a lot of stats, but it's not as complicated as say Sygna Suit Cynthia, where you also need paralysis, which again isn't like really that complicated, right? So for Dragonite has very great attack and special attack, right? Okay-ish HP. Not the craziest, but not terrible either. Okay-ish defenses for a striker, and speed is okay, I guess. And then on top of that, this guy's kid is just Hyper Beam. This guy just spams Hyper Beams and does a lot of damage. Dragonite is one of the few units that do not need either weather or terrain to do just like top tier damage in the game, right? One of the few units that could do that. This guy hits very hard because of Hyper Beam, because Hyper Beam hits really hard and very high special attack. So on top of that, you also have Potion, which is really good because you have got a lot of potions or healing stuff going on in there. Now or never gives you move gauges, 6 move gauges, and then you take half your remaining HP, which is not advised generally, right? Just bring something to like the buff speed or something, whatever instead. Passive is Dragon Shift, so it makes your Hyper Beam Dragon type. Can't get paralyzed and can't get flinched, right? As for the grid, you got some stuff here. Healthy healing is nice, right? Although as a striker, it's not like the biggest heal in the world. Plus, you have potions already, right? You do have 2 MPRs on potion. No master healer, unfortunately, but 2 MPRs on potion is still incredibly solid, right? Rejuvenate 6, charge your gauges after a sync move. If you really need that, sure, right? Especially if you are like running like a 6-star EX Lance, where you generally do want to sync with your Lance. Then Rejuvenate 6 is a great pickup, right? Hyper Beam move gauge refresh 4, so that's something, right? Revenge boost, you're a striker, you're not going to get hit that much. Natural remedy, again, striker, you're not going to get, hit that much unless you get hit by like AoE, statuses, stuff like what the Cresselia is doing with like go viral, right? On the toxic paralysis, all that stuff. Stamina reserve 3, not that great, although you could use it to your advantage if you're like doing some like weird now or never stuff. But again, you'd have to like queue up like the stuff like really really fast. I don't even know. I've never even tried. Oh, actually not. Special reserves, not stamina reserves. Yeah, special. Never mind. Special reserves kind of pointless. Just bring a good special attack buffer. Build up is kind of pointless as well. Just bring a crit buffer. Burst in also pointless. Same thing. I wouldn't say it's pointless because like maybe you don't have like your crit buffed up by the first turn, so you could like get a big hit in on turn 1. You can start hyper beaming right away. Although you'd be hyper beaming right away anyways, but again, not worth it for 10 energy. And then you got like a lot of sync move buffing nodes. So again, it's not like terrible for a 6-star EX, but again, the 6-star EX not the greatest either because if you are gonna like run 6-star EX Lance, you do run into like some issues, unfortunately. One being your sync move is physical, and your main damaging move, Hyper Beam, is special, right? So it's like team comp issues there, which again you could solve with something like whether it be Lily or Alcremie. Although if you're running Lily and Dragonite, that's a really slow team. So hopefully you get something faster, speed up your team, all that stuff. And Alcremie also get the advantage of decreasing the opponent's special defense and just destroying with hyper beams there. Like Alcremie is just so incredibly good, right? The great thing about Lance is in terms of team comp is you have potions, so you don't really have to worry about bringing a tank that could also heal. You could just bring like a tank that just tanks, right? So you could run like something like a Sabrina and Phoebe with him. Actually, that might be a bit too slow. But something that doesn't really heal itself. Like Blue, like he does heal, but like as soon as Blue's heals are terrible, right? So that could help, right, over there. Or again, any other tanks that don't have any self-healing mechanisms, you could help there as well, right? Obviously, Sabrina plus Lance is really, really great because Sabrina could heal Lance if you ever need to use now or never. Sabrina maxes out special attack, maxes out crit, right? Gives speed, and is very, very fast herself, right? And you trigger the Kanto theme skill with them as well. So that's a great option. Again, if you want to make a sync deal much more damage, you also need something to buff physical attack. Xerneas is actually really, really great there because you also get passive physical attack buffs sometimes. Although, again, very unreliable. And then you also get +6 on the speed, special defense, and special attack on sync as well. So that's also a very, very great option. So, yeah, Lance is very, very good. Big damage. Pretty straightforward unit, right? Overall. So as for the banners, just circling back to that. Again, it's a great banner because all these like dual pokefair banners, in my opinion, are all actually really, really nice. Like if you're not like really impatient, right, I would suggest just waiting for like pokefair reruns like these instead of just summoning on like their first appearance, because their first appearance there isn't any like upside to it other than just getting them as soon as possible, right? Because when they rerun, it's usually they put 2 pokefairs in there. They split the rates 1.5% each, which again is like slightly lower rates for them individually, but that's like a total of 3% rates on there, and that's like on one banner. And obviously, it's not great if you already have or have them maxed out at one of them, right? But if you like both of them, you don't have, that's a fantastic, or don't have maxed out, that's a fantastic banner to summon on, right? But again, at this point, anniversary is really close. Just wait what we get for the anniversary first, right? And then just come back and see if it's worth it to go for this one. If you are lacking Dragon type strikers, this is a fantastic banner because both these 2 Dragon strikers are great. 3% chance to get either one of them, and if you don't have either of them, getting one is fantastic, right? But again, like I mentioned before, just a few more days. See what happens during the anniversary. And and then, you know, make your move, right? So anyways, that's me with this one. I guess hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know guys think in the comments down below. Like and enjoy this video, subscribe to my channel for some more Pokemon Masters content. I'll see you guys in the next one.